Hey guys, my name is Emilio Espinosa with Espinosa Associates, and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat Everything Real Estate. Today, I have the distinct privilege to sit down with a person that he's a friend, he's a close personal friend, he's a sales professional, he's a great person, a great individual, very positive, very inspiring, a person that I look up to professionally, not in soccer. He's a great soccer player in his own mind. But anyways, I'd like to introduce you guys to Byron Paz of BP Agencies with AIL. And we're gonna have an amazing chat today. So Byron, for the viewers, do you mind maybe letting them know a little bit about yourself?
Sure, thank you, Emilio. A pleasure. I guess we'll have to settle the soccer differences at a different episode, right? But hi everyone, I'm Byron Paz from BP Agencies of AIL. We're located in Oakville, Ontario. We are an agency that represents AIL, a subsidiary of Globe Life Inc. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to chat with Emilio today in this episode of Let's Chat.
So Byron, you do insurances.
Correct.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I'm actually entering my 21st year this year.
21st year.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm my anniversary, my official anniversary with AIL is on February 28th of 2003. So we're in 2023. So that means I've closed my 20th year, entering my 21st year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Easy?
No, I wouldn't say it's easy. Like any profession that you enter, you have to learn the business. I was fortunate enough to join this company when I was only 20 years old. It wasn't what I envisioned I was going to do, but like most things in life, you kind of pivot to new plans, and yeah, it's been a 20-year journey so far.
Love it still?
Of course, what I love today about what we do is not what I used to love in year one.
Okay.
That has evolved with time, but yeah, I certainly love what we do, for sure.
So I guess when you first started, was there anybody that you looked up to? Was there anybody that you used as a mentor? Can you maybe shed some light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that everyone that makes it in sales or in business needs to have a mentor. I was very fortunate to join an agency in Toronto, and that agency was in its first 2 or 3 years of existence.
Fairly fresh.
Fairly fresh, yeah. And having that agency owner, he served as my mentor. So for the first decade of the business. So yeah, I was fortunate to be able to follow him and learn a ton from him, for sure.
So you've learned a ton. You started off. Obviously you started off small. You had a mentor. What kind of gets you going? Like, in the market that we're in today, it's a little bit different than I guess when you first started.
Correct.
So what kind of gets you going on your day-to-day? Like, what kind of inspires you?
Yeah, it's an easy answer for me now. What inspires me today is to find people that are looking for a profession whereby they can actually grow, not just financially, but also personally and professionally. And to see individuals that enter our agency and to see them evolve and grow and learn our business, that's the most gratifying thing for me, because that in turn affects their life positively. To see someone enter our business, start to learn the basics of it, start to land their first few clients, perhaps get promoted within 6 months or so, get into a training capacity, and then see their career just skyrocket. That is the most gratifying thing for me, and that's what gets me up every day, to mentor others, to find others, and to teach them what I was taught.
I was just about to say, it's nice when you see that evolution. What do they say? The student has now become the teacher.
Correct.
So it's nice, and I think, like you, I'm the same way. I find that it is gratifying. In a way, it's kind of like giving back to the industry, to your profession.
Correct.
And how many do you have on your team right now?
So we have right now 45 advisors out of our Oakville location. That includes team leaders. That doesn't include staff. So the whole team as a whole is we're 55 in our office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with these 55 do you guys have weekly meetings?
Yeah, we since the pandemic hit, we had to evolve with the time, and we changed our model to 100% virtual.
Okay.
So although we have a physical location in Oakville, it's actually empty right now. You can go inside the office and hear the echo. So because of that, everything's gone to virtual. Now we meet every day virtually. We have a virtual office where individuals come in, so we can foster a team environment. This way, you're working from home, but you're not alone. And we really wanted to recreate that feeling where individuals can actually feel like they're going somewhere, even though they're stationary still. This is why we created the virtual office environment.
Okay, and obviously, you like you said, COVID hit everybody, and you have to pivot.
Correct.
And adjust. So with that, let's say with COVID, when that happened, were you concerned?
Absolutely. I didn't know I was going to be around in business.
Okay.
Quite frankly, because our whole model relied in the past from visiting our clients in their home. So it was a very, uncertain time, scary time. But thankfully, I'm grateful for the fact that our company made a transition in only 9 days, where everything got approved by the parent company and the subsidiary to basically flip the switch and go 100% virtual. So in a matter of 9 days, we were authorized to meet our clients via, teleconferencing, video calls, and we had to learn how to do that because we hadn't done it before. But it's something that we mastered within, a few weeks, and ever since March of 2020, we haven't gone back to meeting clients live. Everything's been virtual. So we're very grateful of that. It actually enhanced our business. And we're grateful for that because we already knew our business. Life insurance is a recession-proof business. It doesn't really get affected by financial crises. We didn't know we were also a pandemic-proof business. And with the advent of going virtual, it really, really helped us expand.
Beautiful. I mean, and I like hearing that. I like you said, you had to, and I think that's every business. I think when you're a sales professional, you're relying on, people sometimes often think that we get a salary. We don't, people like, because usually, I tell people, listen, if you don't feel good about it, we'll see a few more houses. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh yeah, it's nice you get a salary. I'm like, I don't get a salary. I don't need unless you make that purchase. So,
correct.
But again, like you said, we have to learn. We have to make sure that who we're looking after is the client.
Correct.
Not our pockets.
Correct.
And when you have a team, number two is because you've had to make a change. Mm-hmm. You've had to adjust. We have to pivot.
Correct.
And you still want to keep their morale up.
Absolutely.
To make sure that they're executing and doing what they need to do best.
Absolutely.
For themselves and the client. Is there is there anybody in the industry, any speakers, anything that you've used over the years that kind of has propelled you to where you are today?
Yeah, I think there's no lack of professionals out there. Some of them are very known anyway, but I've relied a lot on John Maxwell. Okay. His teachings and leadership have affected me profoundly over the years. Anytime anyone asks me to recommend a book, I say typically anything by John C. Maxwell is really good, especially if you want to lead people, which is what I've been doing for the majority of my career in this business. So I would say he's one of them. I also like, he's passed away already about 14 years ago, but Jim Rohn was, I think, one of the best for me.
He's great.
So I've learned a lot from his teachings and books and audiobooks. And I think that anyone that wants to succeed in their profession has to invest into themselves, has to invest into their mind, right? A lot of what we do is not taught in formal education, For that reason, I think that the onus is on the individual to keep investing into themselves on a daily basis.
And I think moving forward, I think that's, for those who are watching, I think that's, from what Byron just said, is you got to invest in yourself. It's nice to earn a living and make a living, but if you're not investing in yourself, you're not becoming better. You're not improving on the skills that you could actually nurture and again, then become a leader and have a team. It's funny because I read a quote the other day by Warren Buffett, and especially in the market that we're in now, in tough markets, they say that when the tide goes back, you now see how many people have been swimming naked. And by that is like, in a time like today, you're not no longer relying on the fortitude or the bull market anymore. Mm-hmm. You have to now apply and use and develop skill set. Mm-hmm. But along with it, I think it's the mindset. Because you have a very, like I've known you since 2007. And for those watching, just so you know, Byron was one of my very first clients that we dealt with, and we had I think the way we came together was the mortgage broker that you used at the time, which I don't even think he's in the business anymore, kind of brought us together, and mutually we kind of like gravitated to each other. And like I said, I love your energy because like I know you have tough days. Mm-hmm. I have tough days. I'm sure some of the people watching, if not all, have tough days. But what I like is that I've never seen you demonstrate like you're down, like you've never, and even when you are, I think even you always are very positive. Is that something from your environment, something from family? Is that something from what you've learned? Like, where do you?
I think that
get that. Yeah.
In trying to always stay positive, I think that's a responsibility that we have as leaders, because when suddenly others are looking up to you for leadership, right? You can't, it's not that you can't express that you are maybe, down or feeling the blues, right? I think it's actually encouraged that someone may express their frustrations, but then be action-oriented, I think everyone's entitled to feel stressed, and everyone should actually acknowledge that. It's interesting, I just read an article from the HBR that says how when you admit your own stress, you move it from a side of the brain that deals with stress to your more rationale side, which is your neocortex right here in the front, and it suddenly changes your perspective of stress, Okay. And I think that when you just acknowledge that you're frustrated, you're more likely to do something about it. Whereas if you just suppress it, right, and don't even acknowledge it, it's like a boiling kettle, right? Then it's going to start to make noise after. And I think being in leadership is what's helped me a lot. Once you get into a leadership role and you know that others are relying on you to provide guidance, to provide mentorship, then there's no time to be negative for long. Another way that I stay positive is I'm a bit of a superhero buff. I really like Wolverine.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I like Wolverine is because he heals, and he heals fast. So one of the things I even tell my team is like, hey, have you ever seen the X-Men? And they're like, yeah, I know about the X-Men. Wolverine, he's indestructible. He heals fast. That's how your mind has to be, because your mind is a muscle.
Right.
And your muscle is a muscle that can, tear but grow as it tears, right? So I use that as an analogy, and I've been using it for a long time. I love the X-Men.
I agree with you. I think the mind is a muscle, and it's a very powerful muscle. And I think if how we speak about ourselves too is impactful.
Of course.
Because like you said, our subconscious mind is always listening.
Always.
And like you said, you want to lead, and you got to lead by example. And if you're telling, obviously your team, like, you got to heal, well, you got to be demonstrating the exact same qualities in that healing. Otherwise,
absolutely,
you're not much of a leader, right?
Correct.
So what 20 years, I would say you're a veteran in this. Would you say you're a veteran or an expert?
I think a little bit of both. I don't want to profess myself as an expert because there's a lot more for me to achieve. And I think that's the beautiful thing about having goals and dreams is that when you stick to them, when you stick to your goals and to your dreams, they actually grow with you.
Right.
Right?
Beautiful.
So I would say a veteran, but not yet an expert, no.
And I value that because I'm like I said, I think that's why we're such good friends, because we emulate the same kind of qualities.
Absolutely.
You know, people are like, oh, you know, I've been 18 years. And they're like, oh, you're an expert. No, I mean, I'm constantly learning.
I quote you a lot, you know. I quote you a lot in my business. I say I have a friend in real estate, and I tell your story. You don't even know this, but I tell your story a lot to individuals that start out and say, you know, that this business is difficult and all that. And it's like, yeah, just like any other business is difficult. I say I have a friend in real estate who is very, very successful with his firm, with his brand, and you know, not everything is roses and petals in the beginning, right?
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, we've actually, you know this, well, obviously you, because you were there, but I've actually hired Byron to come and talk to the team so that they can understand that it's, because often, again, we think, oh, it's just real estate, or it's just insurance.
Yeah.
But sales professional is sales professional. Even entrepreneurs can learn a lot from the day-to-day of sales as a sales professional. So it's, you know, I guess that's, again, this is why we're so connected to each other. So when you mentioned goal setting. Is there a time of the year that you set the goals for the year ahead? Like, when do you set your goals? Is it at the beginning of the year? Is it at the end of, you know, the last year? Like, how do you go about setting those goals?
Yeah, usually goal setting for me is an ongoing thing. I don't necessarily believe in New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
I actually think that that's something that, unfortunately, it's been, you know, inserted into a water supply of our society, that you got to set new goals in the new year. I believe you can set new goals any day of the year. Okay.
Agreed, yeah.
And for example, I tend to plan my following year at the end of the third quarter of the prior year. Okay.
Okay.
Because to me, it's like you have to have a short-term, you know, vision, but very important, a long-term vision, right? Especially in what I do. So to me, goal setting is a constant. It's not an event. It's something that you have to do and continuously do. Also because you have to adjust along the way, you know, and that's where I think that a lot of people struggle with setting goals. They don't have a habit of setting goals. They don't write things down, you know. They're too casual. They're too casual with building their career or life.
Oh, I put it on my phone. I think ink to paper is powerful.
100%.
So you still write them out?
Yeah, I have a book actually that it's still old pencil and paper. Yeah, that I use. I usually go through about 3 or 4 spiral notebooks a year. Yeah, just writing stuff.
Do you journal?
I don't journal as often as I would like to, but I do write a lot. I try to externalize my ideas and put them on paper, right?
Okay.
This way it helps me understand them better. And sometimes as you write it out, you know, sometimes an idea could be good, it could be bad, but if you write it down and you read it to yourself, right, I think it takes a whole different meaning and it takes life, you know, this way. So yeah, I do write a lot of stuff, yeah.
And do you, like, when you journal and you write a lot of stuff, like, have you ever gone back and found, I guess, one of these books from previous years?
Yeah, so I keep them all, right? I keep them all. There's at least like probably over 20 now. It's not something I always did. It's something that I've probably been doing more consistently for the past probably 6 to 7 years. Yeah.
Because I'm sure what's in here is priceless.
Well, they say that your most important asset is your mind, right? So definitely. And using a real estate quote, I tell my team that the most important real estate you own is what's between your temples, right? You know,
Brilliant, yeah.
Because that is where everything happens, you know? Whether you think you can or can't, either way you're right, but it starts here, right? You know, so the quality of your thoughts and what you really think and feel and believe will manifest in your actions.
If you had to give your younger self an advice, which basically is going to anybody who's an entrepreneur or sales professional, if you had to give your younger self an advice, what would that advice be?
Great question. Thought-provoking question. So if I could talk to my younger self, and give myself advice, that would be to learn how to lead sooner.
Okay.
The leader I am today is not the leader I was when I started. And I know the reasons why. Is I didn't really believe that I could lead, and that I believed that people were just going to do whatever they wanted to do, ultimately. That was not only an immature way of thinking, but also incorrect. To me, leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. And once you learn how to lead people and influence positive changes in behavior, it can take your career and really propel it. So I would tell myself, learn how to lead as quickly as possible, because that'll give your career, and also more satisfaction because you're actually helping others grow. And I think in life, you are alive to the degree in which you can serve other people. And if you can serve others and you can learn how to do that, you'll have a good time here.
And I agree with you. I think I'm 100% on board with what you said, because at the end of the day, when our last breath is taken and we're below ground, and hopefully that's many, many, many years from now, our tombstones isn't going to say what number you were in that industry. It's not going to say how much money you earned. It isn't going to say he had a Ferrari or et cetera. It's basically going to talk about who you were as a person.
Correct.
And I think to your testament, and I know, not, again, I know we're talking about what you do at work, but I think one thing that I've seen when we're hanging out recreationally, even on the soccer pitch, when we played soccer, is you have this skill, and maybe you do it subconsciously, but you have this skill to really elevate those around you. And I admire that about you, because, as much as I know that I've gone through tough times and we've shared, you have this ability, and sometimes it's almost like you do it subconsciously. You just kind of elevate, and you inspire people, and you make those around you more positive and better. And like I said, you do the same thing on soccer pitch, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Correct.
So I really, really admire that, and I know that anybody who's under your leadership is only bound. And I hope those people that are on Byron's team or maybe want to get into insurance, I will reach out to Byron. I'm going to get him in a second to tell you how to reach out to him, but I would definitely reach out to him, because the leadership that you're going to be under, it's going to propel you not only in your career, but I think as a person. It's going to make you better. And being a better person is going to, again, help those around you, your family, whoever your circle is, to even elevate them. So maybe you want to share with our audience and kind of let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Thank you, Emilio. I really appreciate that. So Byron Paz from BP Agencies. You can visit our website, bpagencies.com. And for career opportunities, you can visit our Instagram page and send us a DM there. Our Instagram page is Byron Paz Agencies. That is BYRON Paz, PAZ Agencies. On Instagram, on Facebook, we are BP Agencies. And you can send us a message if you're looking for a career or looking to, again, explore what opportunities we have within our agency. Thank you very much.
Guys, Byron, I thank you. I know how valuable your time is.
Thank you, brother.
I'm glad you're not charging by the hour. Guys, I hope you enjoy this. I know we're going to, again, try to bring you more, but as you can see, and you're starting to hopefully to see within the episodes, the trend that as sales professionals, entrepreneurs, we all go through tough times, but like Byron said, the best real estate is what's between the temples. If he can go back to his younger self, he would try to lead sooner, and the things that keeps him motivated, the mentorship that he's had. So all these things, kind of put together the person that we become and the person that we're, striving to become, and that's always trying to become better. So I look forward to, I know, 20 years, I'm astounded and, profound to have you as a friend, and I can just wait to see what the next 20 years brings you. So again, thank you so much for your time.
Amen to that. Thank you, man.